Brixton Uprising. This hasn't been released before. We recorded this 40 years ago. Caroline Kay, the late Caroline Kay and myself played a performance in this railway arch in Atlantic Road, Brixton. Where they were burning cars. There was rocks strewn along the way. There'd been houses on fire that week. This was a culmination, really, of very aggressive policing tactics from a right-wing government. I think it was called swamping. It was called SUS, the SUS laws, stop and search laws, which were being directed at young black people. There also was there was a lack of opportunity there for young black people, and also there'd been this house fire over in Deptford, which it's never sort of got down to the bottom of it, but there was this party in Deptford where a lot of people of colour died, and it was never looked into, but the suspicion was it had been caused by far right, because the National Front were just starting to operate in that area. We had party political broadcasts on the TV, this racist organisation, and there'd been a demonstration in Brixton that sort of week. So yeah, fascism wasn't a laughing matter back then. I think this is what I couldn't understand with these, shall we call them knobheads, who dressed up in these fascist uniforms and pretended that they were born again fascists. Oh, we don't know whether we're left or we're right. Well, really, we're neither. We're above all that. We're above all that politics. We are. We're 18 and 19-year-olds, and some of us are a lot older than 18 and 19-year-olds, and we're still playing that silly game at the time. Right, here's a track list on the back. What's the point of a track list? There was a structure to the performance. It's a noisy performance, but there was a structure to the performance, and it was played under difficult conditions because there was faulty electrics. I think the difficult conditions fed into the recordings. So I've done a small cassette release of this, small handmade cassette release, in the strong tradition of this record company, Sterile Records, this boutique record company I ran from 1980 onwards. Might have been 79, 80 onwards, for a decade. Cassette production. I've re-established that, and we've got some more artists lined up for it, and some more old records that's still relevant from that time. I wish it wasn't still relevant, but look at the world around you. Look at this report they brought out from these government stooges to say there is no racism in this country. This country that's just brought in all this Brexit laws. This country which is attacking refugees. This country that's causing the wars that created the refugees in the first place. This country that's exploited the countries that caused the wars, that sold the guns to both sides, and that sometimes the chickens come home to roost. Sometimes the chickens come home to roost. Who said that? I think it was Michael X. The chickens have come home to roost. Legs, punishment, Tudor church music, orgasm control model. These are tracks from Fruit in Body. This is sort of the most rawest state that these items are in. I'm trying to think who was at that gig. Not very many people were at that gig, but I think that was that's when we first sort of hooked up with SPK. They came down to see us then, so that sort of set off a series of collaborations with this band SPK, who were, and I suppose we sort of started getting connected with that more I guess sort of socially, with that sort of that industrial scene, and we got to know a lot of people, and we're out a lot really. I'll talk to you about that again, but this is I'm going to release this through Sterile Records, so there's going to be a different link to usual from the Bandcamp, and it's going to be on cassette, and it's going to be on CDR, and it's going to be on download, and Sterile Records, see that? Sterile Records, that's the original Sterile Records logo. What we did was we took the idea of the Playboy bunny, which was this anthropomorphizing of a young woman as a cute rabbit, and what we did was we reimagined that as the exploitation of animals to create this manufactured, glossed over reality that was going on in Playboy magazine, etc. The cosmetics industry. It's a rabbit being used in cosmetics testing was the logo on Sterile Records. See, the funny thing is about Playboy magazine is nobody was good enough to appear in that, because every single image on that was heavily retouched. You'd use Photoshop these days, but back in those days it was airbrushing, so nobody was actually fit to nobody lived up to that ideal. And don't live up to ideals, be yourself. Whatever, find out what yourself is, really. Find out about it. The way you find out about it is by examining your life, and examining your output, and examining your art, and trying to understand memory, dreams and reflections as it sort of comes back at you. So I think as part of that thing of idea of memories, dreams and reflections, continuing the history and the environmental things, I think this recording is more relevant now than it always was relevant, and you can hear it for the first time.